So school is like fully back in Southern California. I think it's week 3 of the school year, and the lovely Teresa is a school teacher, so we have returned to the schedule of her in bed by 9 p.m. Pacific time. So, with that being said, I've got my Vitamin Water Zero Power C Dragon Fruit, and it's Coast to Coast Pinball episode 191. Let's go. Welcome to Coast to Coast Pinball. My name is Nate Shivers, podcast commentary out of quarters. Welcome. Thanks for listening. Appreciate you joining us here tonight. Coming to you not live from a very normal San Diego night here on the very last night of August 2015. And what's going on? We're back in California for a week and a half or 2 weeks or something like that. Going to enjoy some time at home. We're going to get some podcasts recorded. We got some things coming up. I've decompressed from my whirlwind trip through New York and then Wisconsin for Mad Rollin' Pinball. Had a great time. Had a really, really good time. I know that Mad Rollin' Pinball was, it surprised people that I went to that. I had a lot of people go, "Why did you decide to come here?" And I said, well, I was invited and it fit in my schedule. And it was for charity. Charity's a good thing. I noticed that Hilton, tournament organizer of Mad Rollin' Pinball, posted on Pinside a little while ago tonight that the total donated to charity will be $3,598 after all the entry fees, the raffles, side event entries, and then the shirt sales. We did a custom shirt for Mad Rollin' Pinball with their logo on the front, the Madison Pinball logo, Coast to Coast Pinball logo, and then all the team names from the tournament, which was very cool. I made no money on those. I just had them printed, took my cost back, and donated the rest, and it was well over $300 just off those t-shirts donated to charity. So I thought that was cool, and we were able to get that much money together, even selling the shirts at a pretty reasonable price for $15 for those who brought a game to the event, and I think $20 for those who didn't. So that was nice. And you know what? Honestly, if I had done a little bit better job of ordering some extras, we probably would have sold more, but it is what it is. I was happy to do it, happy to raise some money for a good charity. So here we are, and there's things happening. I need to wrap up real quick. I didn't get too deep into my time in New York City because I spent 2 great nights at Modern Pinball NYC, and I can't tell you how much fun I had. Well, actually, I can and I will tell you how much fun I had. I had a ton of fun. It's literally, Modern Pinball is one of my favorite places to play. It's a pay by the hour sort of situation. I think $12 gets you in for an hour, $19 for 3 hours on a great collection in Manhattan, where everything's really expensive, so that doesn't seem that expensive to me. So night 1, I went in kind of late. I didn't know if I was going out or not. I got to my hotel very late after I turned down going to the AC/DC show out in Jersey, which I really wanted to do, but I was staying in Manhattan, so I went into Manhattan, and I went out to Modern Pinball, and there were not a lot of people there. Francesco was at the door, and I chatted with him for a bit, and then Nick Zendejas, who goes mostly by Zen, and if you're into the pinball tournament and competitive scene, you know who I'm talking about. If you're into the New York City area pinball tournament scene, you know those initials ZEN because they're all over the games everywhere. I'm actually looking Nick up right now to see what he is ranked on IFPA. Pinball.com. Nick is the 52nd ranked player in the country, currently ranked 5th in the state of New York, and I had a really good time. I had never met Zen in person. I think I'd been in groups with him talking and chatting, but we'd never been introduced. So we were introduced, we talked, we played a bunch of pinball, had a lot of fun. He was showing me his strategies on KISS, so it was the most I'd gotten to play KISS, and the code update had just hit during the day, but it sadly wasn't on the game yet. So we played through KISS a bunch. We played Mustang. I mean, we played a lot of games. It was a lot of fun. Had a great time hanging out with him, and I look forward to someday in the future having Zen on the show and chatting about his experience. He was a Colorado guy for a long time who's relocated to New York and tearing up the games and grand champion scores all over New York City area. So it was really cool hanging out with him. Had a lot of fun and good times at Modern Pinball. And that was on Wednesday night. So then Thursday night, I was done. I was actually going to do a show Thursday night and try and get some things done. I recorded an interview with a I don't want to spoil it because maybe I'm a surprise. I don't know what a surprise that would be, but I'll let it get announced later. But I recorded an interview for a thing that if you're really into pinball and streams and stuff, you'll hear eventually. And then that night I also recorded an interview for this show, which you're going to hear tonight with Mr. John Replogle of Papa TV. So I was done. I thought that was it. And it was only 9:30, 10 o'clock in New York City, city that never sleeps, yada, yada. And so I went back to Modern Pinball. And when I walked in, Francesco's like, "Hey, you're back." And he goes, "Hey, Steve's here." And when he said Steve's here, I thought he meant, one of the two proprietors of Modern Pinball, Steve Epstein or Steve Zoller. And he pointed to the back, and I saw, no, it was friend of the show, Steve Bowden, Fun with Bonus. And I went back and saw Steve. Steve had just put up some ridiculous score on Tales of the Arabian Nights for their Super League play. The much controversial, much talked about and discussed Super League that runs in New York City, where they get lots and lots of people involved, and it awards lots and lots of Whopper points. We will be sure to ask one Josh Sharp about Super League and his current feelings on Super League, and what the future may hold for points changes and rules changes that might be coming that could affect Super League next time Josh is on the show, which I believe will be later this week. So Steve just put up some disgustingly high Grand Champion score on Theater Magic, and then we did what we do, and we played some pinball. And we were playing Walking Dead, actually, was kind of our focus. We played some Walking Dead, and Steve, I think, said something effective, "I got to try and like this game." So we were playing Walking Dead, played some Metallica, played some AC/DC Pro, which, you don't see a ton of the pros out there, but they have an AC/DC Pro there. And I got to see his strategies on some of these games and realize, again, how poor I am at pinball, and watch a really great player. If I go to the homepage, I think Steve makes it easy for us because he's number 11. No, I'm sorry. He's number 8 in the world. Steve Bowden, number 8. So I played with number 52 on Wednesday night, number 8 on Thursday night. And it's a lot of fun, and Steve's a great guy. Also putting initials up all of our games around New York City. So New York City's tough. If you're going to excel in the competition scene in New York City, you gotta bring your best game. So that was a lot of fun, hanging out with Steve, and I will look forward to seeing both Steve and Zen at Expo in Chicago in October. And I can't wait to get back to Modern Pinball. Had a lot of fun there. Hats off to Steve, and of course Al, Pinaholic Al, who puts the games in there. So good times in New York City, wrapping all of that up. So with that, we need to jump into the forums of, I believe, Pinside tonight. So the Pinside forums.
Forum static.
2 episodes ago, I discussed a thread that was pretty controversial on Pinside, discussing the Medieval Madness remake's colorization, the color DMD option that had been alluded to being in the works. And Rick Bartlett from Planetary Pinball Supply had come on and publicly stated he had hoped it would be free to purchasers of the Medieval Madness Remake Limited Edition, but he didn't think that Chicago Gaming really wanted that to happen, and people got really upset, and there was a lot of chatter about that. And I talked to a few people, both in New York and at Mad Roll and Pinball, and asked, I said, can somebody point me to a place where anybody ever said for sure that the color DMD for Medieval Madness Remake would be given away for free at any point? And I have yet to find that. I know it was talked about. I think it was said we would like to include this, but I don't know that it was ever promised. It certainly wasn't on any of the flyers or emails that I ever saw. I was in on the game very early till I realized I needed to hold on to that money. And I think at the core of Medieval Madness Remake, and I know people don't want to hear this, but at the core of that game, what I think they really offered everybody was a chance to buy a game that is Medieval Madness in gameplay and experience, but built on a modern platform for less money than you could buy a used 20-year-old game or 17-year-old game, whatever, on the used market. And that's really what was promised. So the color DMD talk was sort of alluded to, and I think the limited edition people thought, oh, I should get in on this. I take a little bit of a weird vibe about the whole LE on this, because if you remember back to the original announcement of Medieval Madness Remake, I don't know that when the day they announced it at Expo 2 years ago, they thought there was going to be a limited and a standard. The standard sort of kind of came out after the fact. They realized that they had sold 1,000 games in a few hours, and they wanted to keep selling games, which any businessman would. And so the limited edition, we're going to have trim options and a number, and I don't remember what else. Was there anything else? But for most people, it was just getting Medieval Madness. Well, time went on, the game got delayed, people get nervous about it, get bothered by the wait, totally normal, I get it. And so the color DMD thing sort of became a sticking point. Like, we deserve this, we waited, we supported. And I see that, I totally see that. And Rick even was sort of saying, look, we'd like to give this away. If it could work, we'd give it away. I had heard through the grapevine, third-party sources had told me that I needed to really wait and see what was in store. I think what somebody said was, just sit tight, and once you see the color DMD, you may realize why it probably won't be free. And I didn't really know what that meant. In fact, I was very confused by that and thought, well, maybe it's going to be more than just a color DMD. Maybe I wasn't sure. So what happened last week, a few days ago, is we got a post, an actual post by Doug from Chicago Gaming on Pinside. He just came right out and he put a post entitled MMR Color DMD Sneak Peek. And he posted a video. Well, first of all, he said he would like to briefly address Rick's post relating to the color DMD upgrade and the ensuing concerns voiced by several MMR customers. Few people outside of the Chicago gaming team have any detailed knowledge of what is being developed. No one, including myself, knows how the product will be priced. So he's saying right out of the gate, we don't know what we're pricing this, and we have not put a price on it. We ask that everyone allow us to finish the color upgrade and determine pricing before reacting. We reluctantly agreed to allow Planetary Pinball Supply to announce that we had begun development of the color display upgrade because of the great number of customers expressing interest in an eventual color display option. A lot of people, I think, in their heads thought, can color DMD make a color DMD for this game I'm spending all this money on? Because remember, a lot of the people buying this game, well, all the people buying this game are spending, $8,000-ish or more dollars on this game. But a lot of those customers are the type of people who will want to, get all of it. And by all of it, I mean they put a color DMD in all their games. It's the money's there already. $400 for color DMD is not a big deal to them when they buy a game. So a lot of those people obviously asked, will a color DMD be able? Will it work? Because there's already a color DMD for regular Medieval Madness. Is there a way to make that work? So, what we didn't know is behind the scenes, Chicago Gaming Company says here, our goal is to provide a color display option for MMR that surpasses anything in the marketplace. Color DMD is a great product, but we wanted to take our color display to the next level. We partnered with Ethereum Games on the project. We chose Ethereum because of the quality of their on-staff artists, hear that? Their programming expertise and their passion for the project. Chicago Gaming solely funded development of the project, with Ethereum working at discounted rates in exchange for a back-end royalty. All right, so that's the most important line of this whole post. They funded the development of the project with Ethereum working at discounted rates in exchange for a back-end royalty. So basically, Chicago Gaming said, hey, we would like this product built. How much would that cost? And this company said, we can build you that for X. And Chicago Gaming said, well, we would rather not pay you X right now. Could we pay you, and I'm just throwing fake numbers out there, half of X right now, and for every one of these we sell, we'll give you a 1/10 of X or 100th of X, so that if we sell 1,000, you'll actually end up with more than X, the X that you wanted. And the company, Ethereum, said, yes, let's do it that way. Pretty common thing to do in the business world. You get paid on the back end. You hear about movie stars taking movies sometimes that are, a low independent budget movie that they take for a small fee for their time, and then they get paid on the back end. They get a cut of the profits. So, I hope this video will illustrate our team's dedication to making this product amazing. Over 2,000 frames have been painstakingly animated. Hear that? This is not just a throw dots in, throw dots out. Animated to create a display that features 4 times the number of dots as the original Williams display. This upgrade will be exclusively available on MMR, meaning you cannot go put this on your old Medieval Madness. We greatly appreciate everyone's continued support. Doug, Dubba, I don't know if it's Duba or Dubba, I'm sorry, Chicago Gaming Company. And then they posted the video, and everybody's jaws in the pinside world hit the floor. They posted and it's not, I won't call it high def, it's not high definition, but it is, like they said, 4 times the amount of dots into a reanimated display for Medieval Madness, with all the same graphics coming across from the original dot matrix display, except in much higher resolution with much more color capabilities than even you would see on a color DMD. It's really spectacular because they're not working with the DMD. They're working with an LCD screen, a display. It's fantastic. It looks amazing. It's the best thing we've seen in a pinball machine, short of Jersey Jack Pinball, using, video and whatnot. It's what I think it's on the level of what we're going to see from the Big Lebowski. Maybe not quite that. I think the Big Lebowski is probably going to be, a little more HD. I'm guessing. I don't know, and I don't know what, the DMDs we've seen on Lebowski so far were in very early stages, so I don't want to judge anything on that. But as far as a DMD type display, especially on a classic game, this is the best thing we've ever seen. And this probably cost a fair amount of money. This wasn't cheap. So Chicago Gaming has invested all this money into this, and they want to make their money back. This is business, folks. And if it wasn't ever promised to anybody for free, I don't know that they're looking to give this away for free. Would I like to see some sort of goodwill discount to the LE customers? Yeah, I would love to see that. Do I think that has to happen? No, because I think people are going to buy this because it's awesome. And when you have a product that's awesome, you can sell it for whatever you want. Now, if I'm Chicago Gaming Company, if it's me, and I am on game number 1 of what sounds like, by all accords, is not the only game they're going to do in this Medieval Madness remake style, I probably want to acknowledge that they had a lot of delays in getting this game out, and a lot of people still don't have their games. And I probably do throw everybody a bone. If it's me, I would probably sell it at a discounted price. I would tell everyone it's a discounted price. You have 30 days from the time, either now or from the time, well, not now because it's not available. From the time we say it's available, you have 30 days to pay for your upgraded color kit in full, and you'll get it at a discounted rate. After the 30 days, there will be no more discounted sales of this, and they go to their normal price, etc., etc., etc. Because after all, the game is great without it. I've played it. It's awesome. It's a fun game. It plays like Medieval Madness. The people out there saying it doesn't play like Medieval Madness, boo on you. I don't agree. It plays like Medieval Madness. It plays as close to Medieval Madness as the next one down the street plays to Medieval Madness. So it's a fantastic looking upgrade. I think that this is another thing that's got to be like, Stern has got to be seeing Jersey Jack Pinball, Big Lebowski, Highway Pinball, and now a game they're building in their own factory with this really great display that'll be available to add on as an aftermarket mod. They've got to be looking at this and going, yeah, we want to do that too. We're going to do that. So I love it because it just pushes everything down a little bit farther, so we get a little bit farther past single color dots. So at the end of the day, I think that exactly what Doug asked is what everyone should kind of do on this whole thing, is wait and see where they price it. And you know what? If they price it and nobody buys it, then they know. But I think people are going to buy it. It looks awesome. It's really a great move on their part in being able to work with the platform that they've built for this Medieval Madness remake. And I hope we see more remakes. I really do. And I would love to see more games with that treatment. I love color DMD. I have one in my Metallica, and I love it. And it's funny because when I go see a non-color DMD Metallica out in the wild now, I'm like, oh yeah, it looks way better at my house. And I would love to see these remakes, get this special treatment to really bring it even more modern.
5 Fast Thoughts.
Oh, I didn't know he could do 5 fast thoughts later in the show. I thought that always happened at the beginning. I can do whatever I want. It's my show. There's no rules. There's no sponsors. So I don't have to open the show bowing down to my sponsor who says do 5 fast thoughts first. I don't have to. I don't even have my 5 fast thoughts written down. I wrote them down at work and I left them there. Fast thought number 1. I was really happy to see that the Pinball Wizard arcade in Pelham, New Hampshire is getting a Highway Pinball full throttle game. I think that's awesome. Can't wait to see it. Very excited. Fast thought number 2. Congratulations to Robert Gagnon taking down the Northwest Pinball Championships. That's fantastic. He represented the Northwest well. The Northwest actually represented themselves very well. Raymond Davidson off his second place at Pinburg takes down another second place here. Finishes second in the tournament to Robert. And then I think they had a tiebreaker in the finals between San Diego's own Keith Elwin and John Cambereri. Sorry if I'm screwing your name up there. And John beat out Keith for third place, so Keith Elwin takes fourth. And I want to say, I was actually trying to look for friend of the show, Adam McKinney. Adam finished fifth, so close. I think he had a tiebreaker loss to John to get into the finals. So sounded like a great tournament up there. The Robert Gagnon story rolls on. We're going to see more of the Wizard Mode documentary and their crowdfunding coming up very soon. Fast thought number 3 is that kind of like right on the heels of Dead Flip Pinball's Jack Danger going over 24 hours straight playing pinball live on Twitch, verified on Twitch, we have now an official attempt at the Guinness Book of World Records pinball marathon record. Eden Stam will be attempting to break the record on September 8th. He will be doing this at the, I want to get this right, the Lamplighter Pub, which if I have my facts straight is in the Seattle area. I believe Eden is a Canadian player from British Columbia. So good luck to him on that. I want to kind of see a war breakout of players trying to beat the records until we get to some like ridiculous like 48-hour marathons. I just want to see what somebody would look like after 2 straight days of trying to play pinball. So good luck to Eden on that one. Fast thought number 4, it's like a fever pitch of speculation on new Stern games. This is sort of also a cross with Forum Static. There was a post today on Pinside that I got multiple messages about. Did you see the person trying to sell their whatever game it was? I don't remember. I think it was a Kiss LE because they're claiming that they know for sure that Stern Pinball will be releasing a Ghostbusters game later in the year. Now, I have certainly heard that rumor, and I certainly think it's a possibility. And if everything in that thread is true, which basically said it's classic Ghostbusters theme and it's John Trudeau designed, I can tell you this. That will be a big hit, and I feel very happy for Mr. Trudeau that he finally got a AAA theme to build a game around. So, no offense to Mustang and WrestleMania, of course. And fast thought number 5 tonight is that Papa TV is coming back. I love Papa TV. There's just something to me special about Papa TV because it is hosted out of the Papa facilities, which I think is a place every pinball player and fan needs to go and see. And I like the interplay and the chat that is on that particular show. And I like the host, John Replogal. So we need to have John come on the show right now and talk about it.
Call the people.
I would like to welcome back to Coast to Coast Pinball, Mr. John Replogal. How are you, sir?
I am great, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Do I say your name right?
John Replogal?
Replogal.
Yeah,
see,
you
I'm
got
not,
it.
I want to drop that O. I want to make it more Replogal, but it's Replogal.
Long O.
Long O. Replogal.
But you know what? It doesn't matter. John works. So I'm
John is good. How are you? What's happening?
I am well. I am finally recovered from running the Replay FX event.
Are the games back yet?
The games went back. So the event ended Sunday at 5 p.m. We started immediately moving games back. We moved games until midnight on Sunday, and then all day Monday we moved games, and the final game was back in the building at the end of Monday night.
Wow. Did you guys, and I think I asked you this maybe in person, did you take this opportunity of having the Papa facility sort of emptied out? Did you get a chance to reorganize when you brought stuff back in, or did it all sort of go back the way it was?
Well, it sort of went back in the order it came back. It was one of those things, I was so rushed. I was actually at the Papa facility, and the other people who were helping with the move were on the other side of the convention center. And we were so rushed in getting the machines back in, it sort of became, I just got to pack these machines as far into the building as I possibly can so we don't run out of room from these trucks showing up. So now I think things are going to look much the same as they always have.
Were there any casualties of moving all those games back and forth?
There was a lot of near misses. There was one machine that tried to fall off a dolly and fall off the ramp, and the one guy caught it. I actually caught Alien Star as it was trying to take a gainer. But we only had one bad damage thing happen. That's when a 1942 arcade machine got dropped face first into the concrete.
Oh.
But all in all, I got to say, it was a huge success of a move.
How was the event? I know that you didn't get to partake in Pinburg, but you were. I kept seeing you like just walking by doing other things, and I know your band got to play. How was the event from your point of view? What was your takeaway from year number 1 of Replay FX?
So you recently did a segment with me for Papa TV.
Very recently, yes. Very recently.
Like 15 minutes ago.
Yes.
And you said you didn't know how to visualize what the event was going to look like ahead of time. And I got to tell you, I didn't know how to visualize what the event was going to look like ahead of time. It was sort of surreal to me. I couldn't picture what the room was actually going to look like with all the machines and inflatables and live music and mood lighting and the console lounge and the Donkey Kong, the Kong off. I could not put all that together in my head. Now I can, but so I don't know if it met expectations I had because I couldn't visualize what it was going to look like ahead of time.
I think I've already heard the answer, and I think it's sort of been said to some people, but officially the group, and you're sort of in that inner circle, success, right? This thing was a success.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would call it 100% success. As far as I know, we haven't released any numbers on attendance or anything like that, but we were all satisfied that it was within the range of what we were expecting for year 1. I mean, there was little hiccups and things that we're going to improve for next year. And there's also a lot of things I think we're going to add for next year. But overall, I couldn't have been happier with the results of the event.
I concur. It was a fantastic event, and I think that you're going to see a big attendance spike because all those people that were there, everybody I talked to certainly left saying, "Oh, this thing was awesome," which that just, you know what that does, and there's buzz, and people are going to jump to it. And I think year 2 is going to be really big.
I can't see how somebody would not want to come to this event. Yeah. I wish I could have played in Pinburg myself, but it's just if I wasn't playing in Pinburg and if I had to travel 5,000 miles to get here, I would.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I think we accomplished what we set out to do, which was go big or go home, and we went big.
Absolutely. So the reason we got you on here tonight, other than I just like you and you're a good dude, Papa TV is coming back. We're going to see new streams and episodes of Papa TV live. When is our start date again, and what is sort of the working plan on how frequent we're going to get episodes?
So the start date is Wednesday, September 9th. I'm hoping that we're going to go on around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm hoping to do about 1 episode a week. We are changing up the format this year a little bit. I mean, we're still going to be doing live pinball playing while it's going on, but I'm planning to do some interviews and have other people do interviews of people who are involved with pinball, or people who like pinball even. Because I think one of the most important things about connecting with an audience is that you talk about people, because only a certain amount of people are willing to geek out and just watch pinball and listen to people explain the rules for pinball. But everybody's willing to listen to a nice story about people. So
it's great.
That's the format change.
I love it. I think that's a great idea. I look forward to it. How are you choosing games? How do you kind of decide what you guys are going to play and stream? Is it random or?
Well, it was random last year. Well, actually, it wasn't random. This year we're trying something different. So assuming we have an interview, the interviewee is going to get to pick the game that we're going to be playing. And that also gives an opportunity for us to ask the interviewee, why? Why do you want us to play this game? Why are we playing this game? And I think that's there's only so much we can say about playing AC/DC. But if somebody says, hey, the first time I played AC/DC, I ended up doing this really awesome thing, whatever that is, that's going to be for a great story. And that's going to be much more interesting than us just talking about how we put up, 500 million by playing Hell's Bells on it or whatever. So it's all about connecting with the audience better. So
I like it. Well, I'm looking forward to that. How is your, I don't know, do we call it a season or a year, whatever you want to call it, of competitive pinball going for you, Mr. 26 in the world, #1 in the state of Pennsylvania?
I gotta say, I've played less this year than I would have liked to. And in the beginning of the year, I was hampered by a hand injury, which is healed up now and pretty much 100%.
Good.
And then I got involved with trying to get Replay Effects, help organize that for the first year of that event. And that took up an excruciating amount of time, I gotta say. So I didn't get to play a whole lot. I'm really looking forward. I'm going out to the Cleveland Pinball Show in Cleveland, Ohio. And I think that's the beginning of next month, early September. And I'm really looking forward to just going to a show, listening to some seminars, playing in a tournament, and not having any responsibility. So
not being in charge of broadcasting or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Nope. I'm just there to enjoy the event, and it's going to be awesome.
That's good. Where will the next, when are we going to see Papa streaming live from the next competition? Is that going to be Expo?
That's probably going to be at an Expo in mid-October. We'll probably do some late qualifying. I actually have been talking to Jack Danger, who runs a pinball live stream out in Chicago.
Donate to kids.
Yeah. He's planning on doing some stuff in conjunction with us in Chicago. All of it's subject to change, but I hope we can get something going there. And, of course, we'll be providing our usual tournament coverage out there. But maybe we'll have a little something else to add.
That's cool. That's very good. Well, I look forward to it. And so I guess I will see you there. Are you going to play in the tournament while you're there?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to watching over your shoulder and trying to pick up some tips as we go. All right. Well, very good. I appreciate you coming on tonight. September 9th, Wednesday night, Papa TV Live, coming back for another season. Looking forward to it. John, thank you very much for coming on tonight.
Nate, it was great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. I have the best listeners of this show because when I make a stupid mistake, like, re-airing Bowen's cheat sheet on Funhouse 15 episodes after I first aired it, they don't send me the quick private message. They just post it out on Facebook. Like, hey, you're an idiot. No, I'm just kidding. No, I was quickly pointed out to me on Facebook and Pinside and private message and email and text message by the end of the week that I had replayed a Bowen's cheat sheet I had already aired. I don't know how I did that. My notes were right in front of me. I knew I had done that. I was tired. It was after midnight. I really liked his strategy on Funhouse. It deserved a second airing is what we're going to go with. That's going to be the story. So tonight I bring you Bowen Karen's Bowen's cheat sheet on a game that you have not heard him talk about on this show before.
Bowen's cheat sheet.
All right, Bowen is joining us today. He's going to try and cure a disease of mine, and it's my disdain, my problem, my issues with the game NBA Fast Break. This is actual, I need your help here. What is my strategy if I'm really bad at NBA Fast Break to score a decent point? I'm sick of scoring 15 points on this thing.
All right, the first strategy is not to lose to somebody by one, which I've had that happen to me, and it just feels awful.
You kind of hate that.
I lost by one point.
Yeah.
So there are the two biggest things to focus on when playing NBA. One is the left saucer, which is called Stadium Goodies. It's kind of in the same position as the kiss shot on Creature. And there are 4 Stadium Goodies modes, all of which are tremendously valuable. The first one is a back box game. And when you're in the back box game, you want to flip to score 3, flip to score 3, flip to score 3. It's going to keep cycling 1, 2, 3. Get threes. The second one is a center shot shooting mode, where the center shot is worth 3 points. Actually, no, it's all shots. All shots are worth 3 points, and you're getting a ton of points for doing what you would normally do in the game anyway. The third one is a stupid trivia question. So you got to memorize all of the 1995 facts about the NBA.
Yeah. David Robinson.
Yeah, John Stockton.
Yeah.
And Hakeem Olajuwon is from Africa.
Yes.
And the fourth one is another round where the ramps are worth 3 each for 24 seconds. So all 4 of the Stadium Goodies are huge scoring opportunities, and you should not leave any of those opportunities on the table if you can.
Are those just lit to start the game? If I shoot over there, that's going to start one every time?
Yeah, you don't have to do anything but shoot over there. So you go right, the first one in, that's the back box game, and you're going to get 20 points out of it. So it's 20 points for one shot, where every other shot in the game is worth 1, 2, or 3, sometimes 0. So I'll take the thing that's worth 20 if I can.
Absolutely. Talk about the ramps. If I'm not in there and I'm sort of just catching and bailing out, where's a good bailout spot on NBA Fast Break?
The best bailout spot on NBA Fast Break is the left loop. It's the S shot in Shoot, and it feeds the 1, 2, 3, 4 in the back for the pass around in the paint game. There's 2 multi-balls in NBA Fast Break. One you get by collecting 1, 2, 3, 4 by playing that pass around game enough times. And the other you get by shooting each major shot once. The ramps, the left loop, and the weird right loop that just bonks into the bumpers. Spelling Shoot gives you a multi-ball, and the 1, 2, 3, 4 gives you a multi-ball. And those are both fairly valuable multi-balls, with the 1, 2, 3, 4 multi-ball generally worth more.
We talked about the weird passing game. What's the strategy on that, and how should I play that when I get in there? Because I'm usually just trying to avoid the guy guarding me and shoot real fast.
Yeah, you want to avoid the guy guarding you, but you also want to get something of 1, 2, 3, 4, which you have to get all 4 of those to start in the paint multi-ball. And so that may mean you have to pass it all the way to the left or all the way to the right. I don't know. I don't think there's really too much rhyme or reason to it, other than just don't get blocked.
Don't get blocked. What's a good score on this?
I think if I can get to 100, I'm pretty satisfied. If I'm only getting 50 or 60 out of the game, that usually means I didn't play all the Stadium Goodies, or that I played them very poorly. I think that if you can get your way to 100, that's great, and you don't have to worry so much about getting to the wizard mode, which you get by completing all major tasks. There's this task of collecting all 4 combos, and that really should not be paid attention to until it's the very last thing. So if you've done everything else and the wizard mode is just shoot these combos and it's ready, then go for it. Otherwise, you can ignore the combos and focus on the 2 multi-balls, the Stadium Goodies, and then after that, just go back, try to get multi-ball again.
Excellent. He makes it sound so easy, and yet that game is just a thorn in my side. Really, it's so bad. We got to jump it in the mailbag, folks.
Check the email.
All right, we got time for a couple emails tonight. You can always send me an email at coast2coastpinball@gmail.com. I have been really bad at replying. We know. All right. Hey, Nate, I've been a listener since episode 1 and wanted to tell you I loved the Kayla Greet episode. I'm a female player, and I rebuilt my Johnny Mnemonic at home. I was also driven off Pinside by the attitudes there. If you've read a technical thread on Johnny Mnemonic, it was me in there helping people, but the misogyny just isn't worth it. It's sad that men bemoan the lack of women in pinball, then in the same breath ignore us when we explain why we're turned away. Great show, keep it up, Quinn. Formerly Blondie7575 on Pinside. I think that email speaks for itself. I told somebody this weekend. I had a ton of email on the Kayla Greet episode. Not necessarily just about Kayla or what Kayla thought, but a lot of it was about the women in pinball thing. And it's a discussion that clearly needs to keep going because it clearly stoked up some emotions and thoughts, which probably means it's an issue, right? All right, what else do we got here? Okay, sort of on the same topic. Let's see. Despite sexy artwork being on pins of yesteryear, I am baffled by all these alternative nudie pic translites. And the nudie pic is in quotes. I'd ask Dear Abby, but she is dead. Nice. So, Dear Nate, A, is the purpose of these translites to invite your friends over so they can get an... this is a PG show, so they can get excited. B, if I'm invited to view a, quote, sexed up pin, what's the proper social etiquette for scanning the machine with a UV light? I have to stop there. This is a PG show. Or C, can you get pregnant or any diseases from a pinball machine? Yours... Protection needed in NorCal, a.k.a. Bob C. Okay. I appreciate the email. What else do we got here? Let's see. I was listening to your podcast today. Thanks again for all your time and effort. It is appreciated. You were talking about Stern and upcoming titles, and I thought you mentioned bright future. I'm not sure how many people have noticed, but Stern has started to lose Pinside collectors in droves. I have a Pinside owners list from about 10 days ago, so the KISS numbers are slightly low by like 10, I believe. But you can clearly see that Pinside has stopped buying Stern games like they used to. KISS doesn't appear to be a success from a hardcore collector point of view. I don't know how they're selling to the general public, but Pinside isn't buying it. And now Stern is doing Metallica and Iron Man when they should be doing KISS. Makes you wonder how good sales actually are. In any case, just wanted to pass along this tidbit of info. Have the rising prices / bad released software / cheapening of the games finally soured the collectors? Have a good week. Thanks for the podcast, Aaron. Aaron gave me then a list of recent Stern releases in a spreadsheet with Pinside ownership numbers. And if you looked at this list, you would see that the largest numbers for Pinside ownership are, the number one actually is AC/DC LE at 775 Pinsiders, listing that as a game they own. AC/DC Pro 157, so that gives you a total of about 925-ish AC/DC games. I believe second in there is going to be Metallica, with a pretty even split between pros and LEs around 800. Star Trek would be next at about 675. Mustang is way low, about 100. Walking Dead bumps up to about 200, 310. WWE is incredibly low, under 40. And then KISS looks to be a little over 100. I don't think that Pinside ownership is a very exact science for judging even how many Pinsiders are buying Stern games. A lot of people don't update their collections regularly. That seems to be something that used to be really focused on Pinside, and I don't see as many collections updated as often. Is there a pushback? You know, there's a lot of things that could be happening. So basically, according to this, things fell way off. Basically, AC/DC was a hit. X-Men was okay. Avengers was not very good. Metallica, Star Trek. Here's the other problem. time is always going to sort this out, because a lot of these games came off route at some point and then were bought by people on Pinside and put in their collections. People have to save up for these games over time. They're still making Metallicas. They're still making Star Treks. Those numbers are going up. Obviously, it's a hit. I can tell you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, Kiss has been a hit. Like, I can promise you. I can tell you, beyond the shadow of a doubt, WrestleMania has not been a hit. And those are, from folks that know, distributors and people who talk to Stern. And the Kiss numbers you're seeing here are fairly low, but that game just came out. Still people waiting on games. I think that one will end up higher. The Walking Dead has done very well for Stern, and this shows, a moderate to the high side. I don't know. I don't know what I think about this. It shows you that people who update their collections on Pinside don't own as many of a couple of these later games. But a lot of these people who bought Metallica bought these later in the game, didn't buy them in the first year Metallica was out. I think there is a lag on Stern games because of the code issues. For sure. So the problem you have is when you have a theme that doesn't hit real hard, like WrestleMania, and you don't have completed code like WrestleMania, that's when I think you're going to see the really low numbers. Even Mustang, which was the theme that didn't hit very hard, the code got pretty good, and more people started coming, becoming more favorable towards that game. Is Kiss going to be the hit that AC/DC or Metallica was? I don't know. That's going to depend on the code. AC/DC and Metallica grew much longer legs once the code was dialed in on those games. So I have a hard time saying that those aspects, the rising price. I don't think rising prices has anything to do with it at all, because they are still running Metallica Pros and Iron Man Pros at the new prices. The bad release software, I think there is a group of people, I don't know how large that group of people is, who are maybe not buying new Stern games right now because of the code. I think they're probably more like me in that they're still open to buying a Stern game, but they would like to wait and see the code. I mean, I for one, I am not going to run out and buy a Stern game based on theme alone or layout alone. I do want to see the code, because I only have so much space for so many games where I live, and I cannot buy a game that ends up with really poor code or code that I just don't like. Or even with Mustang, a lot of players tell me how much they like Mustang now. I still don't really love the code. It doesn't work for me. I'm not into it. I don't relate to it, so it just isn't really a game I would consider for my home. Interesting stuff, though, Aaron. I appreciate the effort, and I like the analytics. I do like that, but I don't know about Pinside collections as being the most scientific method of looking at that. And with that, we come to a close of episode 191. That's a lot of episodes. What are we going to do for 200? I haven't even thought of what we're going to do for 200. Let's say I'm averaging 2 shows a week. I'm going to do another show this week for sure. 2 more shows, 8 more shows. So that puts us in late September. There's not much going on in late September. I don't know. What are we going to do? Maybe there'll be Pyro and Steve Ritchie on a zip line this time. Maybe not. But in any case, I'm having a lot of fun doing shows. I'm having a lot of fun playing pinball. I hope you are too. Thank you very much for listening. Follow us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. Review us on iTunes. All that good stuff. Tell your friends. If you got friends in the pinball, say, hey, you should listen to this guy. He talks about pinball a lot. You might find something in there you like. So I appreciate your support. Talk to you guys soon.